Hello and welcome to Open University from our BronxNet East studios, where we keep you in the loop on current discussions in and around the community. I'm your host, Nicole Larossi, and we have a wonderful show for you today. This weekend kicks off Autism Awareness Week in the Bronx, and today we'll sit down with a member of the American Autism Association to bring attention and to shed light on autism awareness. Plus, we'll sit down with an organization that believes that a working community can ultimately change and transform a neighborhood through programs and projects. After that, we'll focus on a program that not only helps high schoolers jumpstart their career, but also their long-term career as well. Then we'll learn how running through a community park, such as the beautiful Van Cortlandt Park, can help with fitness and sportsmanship when we sit down with the president and vice president of the Van Cortlandt Track Club. So sit back, relax, and let me keep you in the loop with a brand new episode of Open University. Today, we begin the show by shedding light on a development spectrum disorder that affects thousands of people today. According to the CDC, 1 out of 68 children are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Here to discuss autism awareness and upcoming Bronx events, please welcome Executive Director Ilyan Abouassi. Welcome, Ilyan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Okay, so for those who may not really know what autism is, can you please explain?
Yeah, of course. So autism is a spectrum disorder. It's a developmental disorder that impacts, as you said, every 1 in 68 children within the United States and every 1 in 5 boys. It's the fastest growing developmental disorder in the entire world. So it's important to teach people about it because it's impacting so many people around the world. It impacts development in 4 areas: cognitive functioning, communication skills, behavioral skills, and then social skills. So children with autism grow to struggle in these various areas into adulthood.
So what are some of the signs and characteristics of autism?
So as I said, it impacts those 4 areas. Signs of autism usually appear before the age of 3, so parents will start to notice certain behaviors that might be uncharacteristic towards their other kids, or things that they might notice are a little different, such as speech delays, behavioral, like they'll do a lot of repetitive behaviors. They'll repeat similar words and phrases and just keep repeating them because they can only really say those certain things. There's a lot of speech delays associated with autism, and then behavioral. And then one of the primary things people know about autism is the social aspect. So people with autism might struggle socially, so parents might notice their kids being a little more isolated and struggling with social interactions, especially around the preschool age.
And do we yet know the causes of autism?
No, there is no cause and there is no cure.
And it affects all gender, age,
race. It affects everyone.
Why do you feel that it is important to bring awareness to autism?
Yeah, so because it impacts over 3.5 million people in the United States currently. That's people who actually can afford or have insurance to receive that official diagnosis. I think it's important because there's so many people that are impacted by it. When we spread awareness, you're also spreading acceptance. So when people, such as teachers or you or I, notice a little difference in someone, we can understand it more when we notice that there's a disorder behind it, rather than making quick judgments or assuming that someone's different in a negative way.
Okay, and tell us about the American Autism Association.
Yeah, so we're a nonprofit organization that helps families in the New York and Miami area. We work on 3 different factors that our organization does, apart from spreading awareness and advocacy work. So we have an autism help hotline that spans on an international basis, so we work with people all around the world. To date, we're only about 5 years old as an organization. We've helped over 10,000 families through that autism help hotline, where we provide people with non-diagnostic referrals and autism informational kits. And then we host parent workshops where we bring in occupational therapists, ABA therapists, and they come in and they teach parents at-home remedies, and they help parents understand what might be going on with their children, because it's very difficult to kind of gain that education on a parent's perspective to dedicate that time. So we provide free workshops for them.
And how have you seen that the organization does help the families?
Yeah, definitely. So the third, I guess, and the biggest area that our organization focuses on, is where most of our funding goes, is focused towards the therapeutic recreational programs that we have, which take regular therapeutic or recreational programs such as ballet, soccer, or basketball, and we add in a therapeutic twist to it, which helps behavior, social, and communication skills in that, and we've seen a huge impact and progress in the children that we're working with.
And there's different levels of autism, right? That goes from mild to severe.
Yeah,
so do you treat all of them? And, yeah.
It's a spectrum disorder,
Right.
so it impacts everyone differently. I think that's why the signs and the symptoms are so difficult to grasp, because it affects every single person differently. But our organization does help everyone who's high functioning to low functioning on the spectrum.
And tell us about the March for Autism Awareness. When and where will it be?
So that's this Saturday, starting at 6 p.m. and it's starting at 845 155th Street, and they'll be walking about a half a mile to St. Mary's Park and then back to the starting point. And basically that's one of the events that we're hosting with a family here in the Bronx who I guess have done it before within their family. They've marched the street and kind of held up signs just spreading it in their community, and this year they decided to partner with us to bring more attention to the event. And so we'll be walking and holding up signs and hopefully spreading awareness in the Bronx.
And how long have you been with the association?
About 3.5 years now.
3.5 years. And okay, so where can people sign up for this?
At www.myautism.org/events, and we have a ton of events in the New York area throughout the month.
Okay. And if people wanted to donate to the association, can you give that information?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's at, again, www.myautism.org/donate.
Okay. And anything you would like to add, educational-wise about autism to the people that may not know?
Just for people to remember that it's a spectrum disorder, to be open and understanding. As the disorder grows, a lot of people will be getting into college and hopefully progressing on to getting jobs. So for employers and future professionals to be open-minded for people who may be a little different, and also to not forget to wear your blue on April 2nd, this Saturday, which is World Autism Awareness Day.
Well, we'll definitely be wearing our blue here.
Great.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you, and thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
We have to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Open University. Welcome back. The Point, the community-driven organization that believes in uplifting their youth and community, joins us to talk about their upcoming town hall meeting, Urban Food Justice, and their Women's Empowerment event. Please welcome Program Manager and Community Organizer, Rebecca Rosado. Rebecca, welcome. How are you?
I'm well, and you?
Good, good. So tell us about The Point.
So The Point is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the economic and cultural revitalization of the Hunts Point community located in the South Bronx. And so we believe that our neighbors' talents and aspirations are our biggest asset. And so from that asset-based approach to community development, our work falls under 3 headings, which is youth development, arts and culture, and community development.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about those briefly?
Sure.
Each category?
So essentially our work falls, like I said, under those 3 headings. We have a lot of youth programming that serves the youth of our community. So we have a lot of programming. We have after school programming. We have lots of arts and culture, and a lot of these things intersect with each other. So it's not so cut and dry, right? So a lot of our cultural and arts-based work is also for youth. And it's also meant to edify the community and build us up and create a culture that we have. And so all those things are mixed together, and our programming basically aims to develop the talents of the people of the community. So we will have anything that our community members are wishing to work on, we'll probably have programming for that. So anything from theater to culinary arts to visual arts, to women's empowerment groups or activism for our neighbors and families.
How long have you been with the group?
So I've been with the organization for 3 years, but the organization has been in existence in Hunts Point since 1994.
Have you seen it change the neighborhood?
I think that we always see a change in the neighborhood, and I think that change is always organic. And we know that Hunts Point is more than the narratives that mainstream media will place on it. We're not a place just for our food market, or we are not the sum of the crime that plagues our community. There are people, there are neighbors, there are families, there are elderly people, there are young children. All of them have aspirations, all of them have talents. And we see how our neighbors use our organization and our space to help develop those talents. And so yes, every year we see like how many people actually flock to our space, how many people actually have access to our programming and feel edified by the work that we do.
How can people in the neighborhood, you know, come about and join the organization?
I think that people in the organization, people in the community know that we exist and know that we have like an open door policy. You're welcome to come in, you're welcome to view any of our programmings. We have a lot of rotating programs or events or activities that members of the community can come through for free and definitely enjoy whatever we have going on. And if they are interested, they can ask people when they come in. They can also access our website, thepoint.org, to also get more information on any programming, or if they wanted to make use of our space for rental, we can also accommodate those things as well.
And since you've been there, have you experienced any stories that were very uplifting and motivating to the rest of the community?
Well, I mean, I think that we always work on different things, like making sure that we create transportation outlets that lead community members from the residential area to our waterfront parks. Those are different campaigns that our community members have worked on and have fought for. So making sure, like I said, like we make sure that we have access to our waterfront parks. Creating those waterfront parks were also campaigns that our neighbors fought for and actually attained over the years. Making sure that we have access to healthier foods, making sure that we are claiming for our social justice and for the things that we desire most in our community, because we deserve to live in a community that is healthy and that supplies us what we need in order to grow as healthy human beings. And so those things are things that I've seen before coming to the organization and that are still ongoing. And those are fights that are led by our community members, and we are there to support that.
And I was just going to say, what are some of the challenges you face, if any?
I think that the challenges that we face is the challenges that anyone would face. They're very lengthy processes, and we obviously know that with bureaucracy, everything takes a very, very long time to reach a certain goal. So oftentimes when we're fighting in different campaigns, we're not going to see a bus route be created from one day to the next. We know that that takes a very long time, but we know that if we're steady, our steadfastness will ensure us victory moving forward.
Good model. And tell us about the town hall meeting you have taking place. When
Yes,
and
so
where?
Our town hall is run by our action group, and action stands for Activists Coming to Inform Our Neighborhood. They are a group of youth from our community that are trained to be community organizers and talk to the environmental and social justice issues that plague Hunts Point specifically, but more generally low-income communities of color around New York City. And our town hall is an event where young people can share with community members updates to their campaigns and solicit feedback from our community members on how we can move these campaigns forward. And that's the way that we build with our community members community-driven solutions, because we know that even if we're activists, we don't have all the answers, but we definitely know that if we solicit that feedback from our community members, that we'll definitely be more successful in gaining whatever it is that we need.
And that's taking place April 20th?
That is taking place April 20th at the Point, 6 p.m. So that is during Earth Week. Okay. And so that's in honor of Earth Day. And yes, we usually ask anyone who wants to come through, learn about the campaigns, learn about what the Point has been working on throughout the year to get updates, come through. There's food, there's raffles and giveaways, and it's an opportunity for you to see young people in action, actually caring about their community and putting forth solutions and supporting that work.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
No, thank you.
It was so nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Thank you for coming in. And we have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back. Welcome back. This year, Monroe College celebrated 10-year anniversary of the Jumpstart educational program. Joining us to talk about the program, please welcome Dean of Admissions, Dr. Cecil Wright, and Jumpstart Coordinator, Everett Benjamin. Guys, thank you for joining us. How are you guys?
Excellent. Thank you for having us.
No problem. So let's get right into it. Tell us about the Jumpstart program.
All right, so the Jumpstart program is something that I was introduced to, obviously, once I got to the college. Been there for over 2 years now, but over the summer last year, I actually was, gifted the opportunity to coordinate the program. But basically what it is, it's an opportunity for high school students to earn free college credits while still in high school. All right, and the way the program runs is it's an 11-week program. It'll be basically from 8:45 to 12:30. And like I said, the students have an opportunity to earn up to 6 free college credits.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are some of the courses that they offer?
Well, a lot of the courses are initial introduction programs, so a lot of one-on-one courses, and what it really does, it gives students the opportunity to see kind of what they want to get into, right? It's an introduction to psychology course, intro to hospitality management. So these are different entry-level courses, and a lot of times the students will take those courses just to see if it's something they're interested in, and also to see exactly the extent of that particular program.
Yeah, that's good. Not everybody at 18 knows
Right.
what they want to
Exactly.
do, so I
Exactly.
think that's good. And how many courses are you allowed to take? Or,
Well, the kids can take up to 6 credits. So there's 2 courses. And really what it does, it's an early exposure. Most of our children in the communities that we serve is not lack of ability, but lack of access. So the more access you give them at an early stage to be involved in early college credits, it gives them a taste of college, and then they see this as possible. So, for 10 years, I've been in college now for 9 years, and I've been blessed enough to be a part of this program. And I've seen tremendous amount of lives change just by people getting a chance to go to college.
wow. And how would you qualify? How would someone qualify for the program?
Well, Mr. Benjamin, answer that question.
I can definitely answer that question. So basically, students are eligible for the program if they are a junior or a senior, and it depends on the semester on which particular grade we're taking. So in the fall semesters, we usually allow just seniors to participate. In the winter semester, it's allowed for both juniors and seniors. All right, but some of the initial requirements are, one, to have at least a 75 GPA. Obviously, we look for an application, an essay, and a transcript, the transcript to evaluate the actual GPA. But the essay, that is very open. We allow students to make it a personal statement. Also, they can talk about, what they want to do in the future, why Jumpstart would be beneficial to them, and, just a lot of different things like that. But those are the main components on applying to the program.
How competitive is it?
Well, I think it's very competitive. The fact that, we serve every year at least 400 students in a Jumpstart program. And in terms of application, we could have anywhere from 6 to 7 applications. So one, for sure, the GPA requirement is important because you want to make sure that these kids actually have at least a cognitive ability, some
Yes.
criteria in order to get involved in the class. So many students do apply to the class, apply to the program. Some are not accepted because of their GPA, but we say we accept about 55 to 60% of the students who apply to the program every year.
What are some of the advantages, would you say, of the program?
Well, there's lots of advantage. I have a great story to share with you. We just hired new faculty who attended a university upstate, and she's coming back for the first time to teach in the Bronx at Monroe College. Well, her first class she took as a freshman in high school was at our Jumpstart program.
Wow.
So here you have someone who attended a Jumpstart program at Monroe, went on to college, earned a master's degree education, and now is back in the classroom teaching.
That is amazing.
So that's an amazing story. And we see this all the time. As I said before, if we can give our students just a little more opportunity to be engaged and acclimate their college setting from there early, it will help to foster the initiative that they need in order to progress and to just move forward in their own lives. So it's very important for us to continue doing this.
And I can add to
Yes,
that as well.
absolutely.
So some other benefits are also these students get acclimated to Monroe College, right? They're
right.
sitting in our classrooms with actual Monroe professors, so they kind of see the culture that we have there at the school, and a lot of times it does turn around for those students to actually end up enrolling into the Monroe College for the fall.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Exciting.
What would you say to maybe a high school student who maybe had a brush up with the law, or maybe there's a little bit of a record there? What would you say to them? Would you accept them in this program, or
Absolutely.
do you look at that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in the Bronx most of my
Yeah.
time, and I happened to, have the opportunity to attend three different colleges over my lifetime. But I wasn't a perfect kid.
Right.
And most times, we tend to use one incident to define someone's future. But for me, being an African American, grew up in the Bronx, and happened to be a part of Monroe, happened to run the male empowerment conferences every single year, which is this Thursday. Just happened to be Dean of Admissions. I knew there are many instances where I met students who on paper don't fit the bill, but after talking to them and mentorship, character-wise, inside of them, they want to do the right thing. So for us, I really think it's important for us to continue to have these programs. And for me, I've always said it's about access. Right. None of us would not be able to maximize our full potential unless someone gives us a chance. So if you have run the law, those are the sort of kids sometimes that is more passionate because they want to do something, and what they want is someone to say, raise their hand and say, I'll give the guidance they need.
Right.
So I think it's important for us to continue to do what we're doing.
How long have you been the Dean of Admissions?
Well, I've been Dean of Admissions, the newly appointed Dean, so I've been there for just a little less than a year, but I've been the Director of Admissions for the past 5 years, been at college for 9 years, also adjunct professor.
And what would be some advice that you'd want to give your students or to anyone out there listening?
What I would say is, one, follow your passion. Obviously, if you're very passionate about a particular program, a particular major, make sure that you follow through with that dream. Also, just tell students to stay focused. College is a little more rigorous than it is in high school, so this is another reason why Jump Start is important, because they actually see some of the demands of a college course room or a classroom, and that's what I would tell some students out there.
Yes, for me is that all things are possible, and the thing is, for students, it's find something you love. Right. College is not for everyone, but it's for most of us. Right. And right, so but there are more people who are successful earning college degree than rap stars and football players and basketball players. Mr. Benjamin here is a Hofstra grad, who was supposed to be an NFL player, but his education, simply because he has a bachelor's degree in business, went to great schools, didn't make NFL, but his backup plan is academics, and it's going well. So for every single person out there, if you think education is for you, go for your dreams. Don't stop fighting for your dreams, because all things are possible.
That was great. Knowledge is power, right?
Yes.
All right.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us. We have to take a quick break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Open University. Hello and welcome back. So, do you like running? Do you want to be physically fit while still exploring a beautiful park? Then the Van Cortlandt Track Club may be the club for you. Here to talk about the organization, please welcome President of the Van Cortlandt Track Club, Rick Bloomer, and Vice President Mandy Sussman. Welcome. How are you guys?
Thank you. We're great.
So tell us about the track club, the Van Cortlandt Track Club.
Okay, I'll start. We're Bronx-based, Van
Okay.
Cortlandt Park, obviously. We have about 250, sometimes as high as 300 members.
Wow.
A very diverse group. We have people from Connecticut, one from Florida, West Coast, New Jersey, Brooklyn, but primarily in Van Cortlandt Park. Young runners, older runners. Actually, Mandy will talk about a kids club that we just started.
Oh, that's cool.
And we also have some of the best runners in New York in the club, as well as some beginners.
And what? So tell us about the purpose of the club. You want to start?
Sure. The club was founded in 1977, so it's been around a long time. We'll be celebrating a big anniversary next year. We're excited about that. Yeah. And the purpose of the club is really just to be a welcoming place for any kind of runner. We have some clubs in the city have a requirement, a speed requirement to join. We have no requirements at all other than you want to come and be out in the park. We have some people who come and walk every weekend. And like Rick said, we also have local competitive runners who are some of the top runners in the city.
Wow, so how can someone become a member?
You can just come and join us for a run. We meet on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. is our big group run, and there's runners of every level. We also have workouts on Tuesday and Thursday nights at 7 p.m. and all in the Van Cortlandt Park area.
And so you have children as well. Tell us the age groups. Or the range.
So the kids club meets on Saturdays at 4, and it's for ages 5 to 13. And really, we try to keep it to a half an hour. It's a quick meeting just to get the kids out and active. We play a lot of running games and do some warm-ups and talk about what it's like to be a part of a team.
How does that work with the kids? Is it easy to train them, or what do you guys do with them?
Yes and no. I'm working on helping them pace themselves, not go out. A lot of kids like to run super fast, and then they and it's really hard. And I remind them, I said, you know, I'm an adult. I've been running for 35 years and more, and I'm still working on my pacing. So it's not something that you learn overnight, and it's a lot of fun to see them progress into being able to run and talk at the same time. That's what we're trying to get them to do, is talk to your friends so that you know that you are not running so fast that you're out of breath.
Right. Have you seen members join at a young age and then all the way into adulthood? Any of those?
Well, we just started the Kids Club last year,
Oh, okay.
so hope that's our goal, is to not just have kids join the Kids Club, but then become members of the club when they get older, and we're seeing parents join too, so that's exciting.
Oh, so you have like
Yes.
kind of like a mommy or daddy and me kind of thing, or?
Well, the
do it
clubs
together.
are separate, so
Okay.
some of the parents saw that there's a kids club, and they brought their kids, and they said, oh, by the way, can adults run too? And so I direct them to the adult club, and they've joined, and it's great.
And the adult club, how long is it? You said the kids is a half an hour, you keep
Yes.
them, and then the adult one is?
Well,
ranges?
the Saturday morning runs are you know, it depends on who's running and when they, you know, that's pretty loose. Generally, we go about 5.5 to 6 miles, but some people do 20 miles, some people do 5 or 3 or 2. It just depends on, that's not a set workout. The Tuesday night workout is a track workout, and we have a coach who comes and coaches that, and actually the Thursday night is a tempo run that Rick leads, so he can talk about that.
And the Monday night fun runs.
Oh, and the Monday night
We
fun
just-
runs.
we
We
just
just
started Monday night fun
yes.
What's that
That's right.
entail?
That's for generally beginner runners or people coming back from injury. A slower paced, conversational workout. Sometimes the Tuesday track workouts can feel intense, or Thursday can feel intense. This is where it's just more of a relaxed atmosphere. Come and run and talk, and it's a little bit easier.
Do you train anyone that eventually goes into the marathons, half marathons or full marathons?
Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did New York City last year.
You did?
And yes, I
Oh,
did.
Jealous. Want to do it too?
Yeah. Well, 9 + 1, and you could get
there
in.
you go. I was just going to say, now there's a urban environmental challenge. Tell us about that.
Yes. So that race was started
Okay.
in 1999. It's been run continuously since then. So we're celebrating 17 years
Wow.
of running this race, and it was really started as the first all trail run in New York City. And what that means, a trail run, for those who aren't familiar, it's runners would refer to it as a technical trail, in that it has a lot of rocks and boulders, and there's streams and logs across the track, so you have to stop and go over. It's not a PR race fast kind of 10K.
Right. Okay.
But you get to go through some of the parts of the park that are not normally open to the public. And
cool.
there's lots of wildlife that you would never see, and springtime you have bulbs coming up and trees blooming, and it's a beautiful run. It's really it's a special run for us.
What kind of wildlife?
Well, so it's interesting that you ask. There's actually an endangered salamander that's their habitat, and we actually have to walk through with the Parks Department we walk the course with the Parks Department to make sure that we're not disturbing any nesting birds or any of the salamanders who live in that part of the
Very
park. So
interesting. Wow.
yeah.
You wouldn't think so. Or
Yeah,
here.
we actually change the course slightly each year depending on the environment.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell us how people can sign up and any contact information you'd like to leave with us.
Sure. So we're listed on runsignup.com, and you can just search for Urban Environmental Challenge, or you can go to vctc.org, and the link to sign up is right on the homepage there.
Any deadlines or no? Just
The day before the race is April 10th. It starts at 10 a.m.
Okay.
We close online registration. It's $22 right now online. If you wait until the day of, it's $25, and you can do that on site.
and it's a 10K, you said.
It's a 10K, 6.2 miles,
and it starts at
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Okay, that's great.
We also have a kids race
Oh,
at
good.
11:30.
Oh, okay.
It's
good
a
to
half
know,
a
good to
mile
know.
kids race, and it's free, but you do have to sign up and sign the waiver.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very interesting. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, that is it for our show. Thank you to all our guests for joining us today. And most importantly, thank you to our viewers for tuning in to Open University. And remember to always let the passion in your soul shine through. Again, I'm Nicole Larossi. Until next time.